Okay. Good day, everyone. We are KG&D consultants. We are here today to do the workshop about emotions and moods. I am Ms. Kopiso, the OD consultant, and this is my colleague.
I'm Gwai, the HR practitioner.
I'm Ms. Jada, the HR generalist.
And I'm Miss Boyce, I'm the industrial psychologist.
Okay.
As I have introduced myself, that I'm Miss Boyce, the industrial psychology, we are here today to talk about moods and emotions in the workplace. And these are the things that you should know by the end of this workshop. To define emotions and moods, differentiate between emotions and moods, be able to identify the sources of emotions and moods, define organizational productivity, and also show the impact on emotions and moods on organizational productivity. You will be able to describe emotional intelligence, and also you will be able to identify strategies for emotional regulations. We'll be on the next slide, our second slide. On our second slide, we have explained the difference between emotions and moods. On our explanations, it states that emotions are intense feelings that are directed to someone or something, and they are short-term and action-oriented. By this, it means emotions can be triggered by something or by someone. Maybe in the workplace you come in late and your manager starts to shout at you. And that moment your emotions can start to change. Maybe you didn't like the way your manager spoke to you, or the way he spoke to you maybe in front of the other colleagues that you were with. Maybe you're gonna feel embarrassed and you start to feel sad. In that moment, the way you start that your emotions start to change into a bad mood. And that is being directed by someone, as it explains to our explanations. And the next explanation is on moods. Moods are the feelings that tend to be less intense than emotions, and that lack a contextual stimulus. In that, as it says into our explanation, moods have a negative impact and positive impact. Moods is also very different from emotions, because emotions can be very short. It doesn't take long to be sad, or takes you long to be happy. It depends on how you feel that day. But emotions, it takes very long. You either feel positive on that day or you feel negative. And I also have this question. Why do we study emotions and moods in the workplace? I would like any one of you just to give me an answer to that. Like, why do we study emotions and moods in this organization?
I think it's because we different people from different backgrounds, and we carry different emotions and moods, and it's important to know what triggers a person in terms of their moods and emotion, and not just talk anyhow. Let's say, for instance, that my manager shouts at me in front of my colleagues, or in front of my colleagues, or in front of other people. So without addressing the manner in a direct way, in terms of calling me into his office, so my moods can be triggered in that way, and my emotion, and I won't be productive on that day at work because of the situation that has happened. So it's very important for the manager to address things in a correct way, to call me in the office, just not to trigger my emotions or my moods, so that I can be productive at work, because no one wants to be disrespected in the workplace in front of their colleagues, you know, because I can just answer in any way that I want to in front of my colleagues, so of which is something that my manager won't appreciate. So I think it's important to study your colleagues' moods and swings.
And I very much agree with what Ms. Jada said just now with the question that why do we study emotions and moods in our organizations. I will also add to what Ms. Jada just said. It's very important to study emotions and moods in the organizations, because as we know, we're coming from different backgrounds, we have different issues coming from home, we have our children, we have our husbands, so we come from a very different backgrounds with moods and emotions also. So it's very important that we treat each other with the respect and to always be good to one another, so that we cannot change our moods and emotions. And the very important things about moods and emotions in the workplace is that if maybe you are feeling your moods are, it's like you're having a negative mood on that day, everyone around you will be affected by that. Also your work, you will also be affected. You won't be working as hard as you always do. You won't be doing your 100% in that day because you're feeling negative. Maybe something went wrong at home and then now you are just drained, you're feeling tired, you're not yourself as everyone knows around you. And then that's when you start your mood, you feel negative, you are not happy with your moods, you are an angry person, everything that you do, you are aggressive, you're not treating people right, and then it's where it starts to affect other people. And at work it won't be very nice for you, because they usually know you as this aggressive person because you're not dealing with your issue. So when you, I would just like to say, when you come to work, you must be able to deal with other people and also to respect them. Yes, I have this clip that will play just only 2 minutes or 3 minutes. It will also explain about emotions and moods. It's about sport in a soccer field. I'll just play the video now.
Hugo Lloris was left very exposed there. And it looks like he's taking his frustrations out on Heung-min Son. And the discussions are continuing into the tunnel.
I think we have just saw what was the very important part for us in this video, their emotions. As we can see that probably they lost the game. One thing for sure, they didn't win. They lost the game. And it's always funny how when you want to go and play soccer, you always think that you're gonna win. You never think that you're gonna lose. It's always, we're gonna win. But at the end of the day, they lost the game. And you can see that they're frustrated with each other. They're shouting each other. Maybe this one didn't kick the ball well. Maybe this one did this wrong. This one, they're blaming each other. And this is related to their emotions. They are angry, they are frustrated, they are shouting each other. it's where it shows now emotions doesn't last very long. It's just for a period of time, because after this match they will maybe go to a hotel and be happy again. It shows that emotions just happened it's happening with someone or something, and this was just a game that they were playing. So it's really explaining our definition when we said emotions are directed to someone or something, and this was just a game, and they were starting to blame each other on what happened, how did they lose the game, and they were angry, they were disappointed, they were shouting, and all of those kind of emotions. And we also have a second clip that will also explain.
The set is close to its hole. And you can see the frustration that Serena Williams is feeling right now. There's the break. She's had to wait until the business end.
And also on this one,
Advantage.
it also explains the same thing that we've just explained on our previous clip that we have played. That Miss Williams is losing the game, and he's also frustrated and angry by losing the game. But the opposite person that she's playing with is very happy because she's winning. And that is also based on our emotions, because this is just a game and it's between two people. That's why it says emotion is based on someone. Miss Williams is triggered by someone that she's losing the game with her. These are the types of emotions according to Mr. Robbins and Judge 2017. As we have seen the previous clips, we have seen the different emotions that the players had and how they behave to each other. The emotions that we have identified today, there are 6 essential universal emotions. We have anger. It also showed on our previous clip. Fear. We have sadness, happiness, disgust, surprised. Most of the emotional that are here have shown in the previous clip, because the soccer players were angry. They were very angry with each other, and they were also sad. And we saw the lady that was playing tennis with Miss Williams. She was very happy because she was winning the game. And on our next slide, we have types of moods. Now we're moving from emotions, we're going to moods. Moods have only 2 dimensions. It's positive effect and negative effect. Positive effect into a person in the organization can be very good for the organization, because the person can perform well because she is in a good mood, and can also be able to interact with other people because she's in a good mood. So everything just goes well if you're happy. And the second one is a negative effect. In the negative effect, I think we all usually see when someone is not in a very good space in life, and moods, they last longer than emotions. And now I have a question. What are your emotions today? Like, how do you feel? How are you feeling now? We are here in this workshop. We are together. I'm here to explain why are we studying emotions and moods in the workplace. Like, how are you feeling, guys, today about this workshop that we're having?
Okay, I'm actually happy about the workshop, ma'am, that you are giving us because it's going to give me tools how to deal with my emotions, how to deal with my moods when I'm in the workplace. Like, even if I am emotionally hurt, I'll have to go to the person and tell them how I feel so it will not affect the productivity and the people around me.
Yes.
Even if I have not a nice day, for me to be able to control my moods and not bring a bad mood to the workplace, and it will affect the people around me.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
I'm also excited because today I knew a new thing, the difference between the emotions and the moods, and then now I know there's one who lasts longer and one who took in a very short space of time.
I'm also very happy with regards to the workshop that you have conducted for us, because now we know what's the difference between emotions and moods, because one doesn't know. We think it's the same thing and we don't even know what triggers emotion or moods, but now it's clear as to what triggers emotion and what triggers moods, and what is the differentiation between the two. So yeah, it is good. So my emotion is being excited because I get to know new information, like to get a new information for this.
Oh, thank you so very much, guys. And my emotion today, before I came here, I was very nervous because I didn't know how would you guys react. But after the session, I'm very happy because it went very well. We interacted with each other, and I'm also getting new information. So now I will give it to Ms. Kopiso. That will.
Okay, good day everyone. As I am Ms. Kopiso, I'm taking over from Ms. Boyce. We are still continuing about moods and emotion. And the question is, what is your mood today? It can be a positive mood, it can be a negative mood. Anyone?
You can tell us more.
My mood today is positive because I said I'm very excited today, so it falls under being positive.
Okay, thank you. A positive mood, especially in an organization, it brings productivity, because when you come to work with a positive mind, with a positive attitude, you go there and productivity increases. You can, even as you can see in this picture, this person has got a negative mind. She's at work with a negative mind. Maybe she came straight from home with negative mind. Today I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood to work today. My boss, as I enter, my boss will be, all those sorts of examples. And this person will never be productive for the day. And this person will be stressing because she's not thinking about positive attitude. All she knows is negative attitude. As you can see around the desk, a desk that there is no productivity because she's got negative thoughts. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have an activity for you guys. Computers. I have an activity about emotions and mood self-assessment. The purpose of the activity is to help you better understand how you feel, how you have been feeling recently. And I have the instructions with each question. Think about how you have been feeling for the last 2 weeks. But because these questions, I cannot let you answer them now. These are personal questions. So I'm going to email each and every person. And then after emailing them to them, you complete them and email back to me. When we come back, I think in a month's time, we can discuss it. Okay, I'll open just for you guys to show you how these questions are. moods assessment. It's got, let's start. These questions, see, my computer's giving me problems. I can't open it, but I will email to each and every person that is present in this workshop, as we have all the name lists and email addresses. We can move so long. Here we have sources of emotions and moods. No? Personality. Personality, some people experience certain moods and emotions more frequently than others, because we are different people, we come from different backgrounds, different cultures, and we don't have moods or emotions the same way. And time of the day, time of the day, maybe in the morning, people's got moods in the morning. You get morning people that have moods. They wake up in the morning full of moods. You don't know what you did, you don't know what you said. They don't greet you in the morning. Some of them even say that I don't talk before I drink my coffee. And then the day of the week, some people, including myself, as I say, when it's Wednesday, I get very happy. My mood change. As it is midweek, I can always see the weekend. And some people, it's Friday. The week of the day, the Friday make the emotions high and happy, and the moods lift up. The weather, what can I say about the weather? I don't think weather impacts a lot of emotions and moods. And stress, yes, stress does impact our emotions. Because if you are stressful and stressing a lot, you can never be productive. No one that is stressful will be productive. And social activities like can give you emotion. It can give you a good emotions. If, let's say, if we are gathered together with people that you love, your family, your friends, that can lift up your mood. They can lift up your emotions to be happy and excited. Sleeping is another problem. Sleeping is another emotion or moods problem. Because if you are not sleeping, when you come to work, you are tired, you are irritated because you didn't get enough sleep. And then exercises. Exercise is also a liftment of emotions and in moods, because when you exercise, your body is light, very, very light. When you exercise, you are stressless, because people go to the gym to go and relieve their stress. Exercises is very, very good. And even with exercises, less diseases when you're exercising. And age, usually they say old people can manage the emotions and moods. Old people have been there, they know already. It's us youngsters that cannot manage the moods. Look what is happening with depression, the young kids at school. And gender, as it is written, that female are more emotional than men. This is by Roberts and Judge 2017. Okay, now definition of organizational productivity. According to Stava and Bomova, organizational productivity is the rate at which organization or people effectively and efficiently attain their objectives or produce goods and service. Employees' productivity is the amount of quality of output that an individual generates using certain inputs. As the definition says by itself, that in an organization, when people are positive, when people are happy in the organization, when people feel that their words or their input is taken seriously, they do productivity. Because if I am working in a place where my boss listens to my opinions, listens to my input, and I am happy at that job, I'll be productive. I even do more than what I am given, because that job is satisfying to me. And even with the people around me, even if you are working as a team and you've got somebody that is negative, when you are in a positive group, even if you are so negative, because of the positivity of the entire group, it will lift up your spirit. They will give you advice, they will give you words of encouragement just for the productivity to be obtained. Okay. And then here we have the impact of emotions and moods on organizational productivity. As we have already explained in the previous slides about happy employees and unhappy employees. And according to Belt, De Vere and Ward 2019, happy employees are 12% more productive than normal people. Because they do more, they are eager to work, they are happy, engaged in the work, they work harder, they work satisfied, and they work better in the team, and they make better decisions and better skills. And then it says that unhappy employees are less 10% productive than normal. 10% is a lot for people not to be productive. But at the end of the month, the end of the year, they want the salaries, they want the bonus. Usually unhappy people, they book off sick frequently. They've got excuses to do the work. They are late and they are not team players. And if any one of you is an unhappy employee, I suggest that you speak up. Go to the person that you're unhappy with. Tell why are you unhappy so that you can resolve the problem. Thank you. Okay, I'll be heading over to my colleague, Ms. Jada.
As we continue the impact of emotions and moods on organizational productivity, according to Grandy and Gabriel, Lobert and Pallet and Tuffle, Robbins and Judge, we've got these 5 impacted by moods and swings, which is leadership and team climax, motivation, communication, conflict management, and finally decision making. Now you might ask yourself, how are these impacted by moods and emotions? We're dealing with people in the work organization, so there's leadership and team climax. In terms of leadership, leaders may not be able to make good decision making when it comes to the employees, or team members may not be able to perform to the best of their abilities because they've got different emotions and moods on that particular day or week. So that has like a huge impact on the productivity of the organization. Now coming to motivation, if for instance I've got a fight with my manager and then my manager will have like mood or being emotional, my manager will not be able to make a rational decision towards me because that decision will be based on emotions and moods. She won't even be able to motivate me or write a motivational letter as to motivate me in terms of doing the PGS score, because on that particular day you will find out that she is on moods, she has bad moods and swings. And when it comes to communication, it will lack communication. Communication will not be good. Hence, the manager or both parties need to be in good emotion and moods. So when it comes to conflict management, there won't be any better decision that will be made by the manager or parties involved, because the decision will be based on motions and moods of that particular fight that happened. So it is very important when in an organization to make rational decision or conclusion based on a good mood and emotion. And then when it comes to decision making, it is very important for managers and employees to be aware of their decisions that they're making in the workplace, and those decisions have to be rational and not based on the particular moods or emotions of that particular event that happened. Okay, ready. Now, there's a theoretical study work done in the field of study. This is by Jack Welch. Now, Robbins and Judge, they define emotional intelligence as a person's ability to perceive emotion in the self and others, understanding the meaning of these emotions and regulate one's emotion accordingly in a cascading model. Now, it is very interesting how Jack Welch sees emotional intelligence. I quote in what he says. He says that no doubt emotional intelligence is more rare than bookmarks, but my experience says that it is actually more important in the making of a leader. Now, you would say that Jack Welch is actually contradicting what we're thinking in terms of emotional intelligence. In my point, I wouldn't see emotional intelligence as very important in terms of making a leader. Now, I get what he's saying. He's saying that it is important. It is more important in making a leader, because it is very important to control our okay, I know, bending the papa then. It is very important to being able to manage your emotions, whether you're being in a leadership position or you're just an employee. So emotional intelligence does make a good leader, because you're not making your decision based on emotions, but you're making rational decisions, which can lead into a very good productivity in workplace, because your decision is not biased, but then you're making your decision in a rational manner. Okay. Now we've got 5 emotional intelligence that employed Jack Welch. According to Kim, Myers and DeWall, Welch and Bain, we've got 5 emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and finally social skills. Now I'm going to take you to the following slide, which has an activity. In this activity, you will find the purpose of this activity is to find out how emotional intelligent are you as an individual. So it is very important for you guys to know how emotional intelligent as an individual, because you might find out that you as a person think that you know how to handle your emotions and moods and whatever that you're dealing with as a person. So the purpose of this activity is for you to find out how emotional intelligent are you, which I think is the best activity to evaluate yourself as a person, because it's very important to evaluate yourself as a person. The instructions is that this emotional intelligence quiz is composed of 20 questions covering your emotional reaction and responses. In addition, you are given situations you may encounter in your personal life, in your professional life, and the choices in which you handle them. You have to make sure that you answer these questions completely and honestly, because it's going to help you as an individual. when you add up your score, you will find out how emotional intelligent are you. And then you will be able to decide if you need to work on increasing your emotional intelligence. So I'm going to send you a link into your student email of this activity so that you can complete this activity, and then in our next meeting we will look at this as to how have you measured yourself, how have you scored yourself in terms of this activity. Now I'm going to break down the scores, the scoring of this activity as to how emotional intelligent you have to be. The self-interpretation of this activity. If you're between 68 up to 80, you have extremely high emotional intelligence, which you're able to handle your emotions and make irrational decisions. And if you're 60 to 80 to 68, although you have scored relatively high, you do need a room for improvement. So which means you need to work on your emotional intelligence to be above that 68. And the other one, it says 48 to 60. You fall in the middle range when it comes to emotional intelligence, which means you do not know how to control your emotions. So it's a step where it says that you make your decisions based on your emotion. And then it says if you're 40 to 48, your emotional intelligence is a bit low. So it's something that you need to work on so that you can make proper decisions. And if you are under 40, that means that your emotional intelligence it's extremely low, which is something that you really have to work on it, because you might find out even in your personal life or your work life, you make your decisions based on your emotional intelligence. So I would like every one of you guys to make sure that you do complete this activity so that you can know how emotional intelligent you are, because that will help you in maintaining your life and your professional life and being able to distinguish between emotions and moods and make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chada. I will continue from where Ms. Chada left. Now, my colleagues, I have a case study here. I'll give you case study. I'll give you 3 minutes to read this case study.
Okay.
After I'll ask questions from this case study. My colleagues, as I gave you this case study, I'll give you 3 minutes to read this case study. After I'll ask questions. You can read the case study. I'll give you 3 minutes now. You read the case study. Now you finish. You know what happened in this case study. What I will do, I will read you these questions. What happened to make Mitchell upset? How did he or she feel after it happened? How did she feel after Jessica apologized? What were the consequences? Okay. As you read the case study, now you know the content of this case study. But what I will do, I won't ask you questions. I will give you my emails. You answer the questions and then you send back to my emails. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's carry on to another slide. There is this emotion regulations. I think it is very important to manage our emotions and to remain positive in the workplace. Emotion regulations. Emotion regulations involves identifying and modifying the emotions you feel. I think it is very, very important for us to manage our emotions in the work situation, in the workplace, and it remains positive emotions that promote productivity in the workplace. Now, there's also emotion regulation strategies. According to Robbins and Judge 2017, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 emotion strategies. First is diversity, the surface acting, the deep acting, emotional suppression, cognitive reappraisal, social sharing. Diversity, you see, in the workplace, if there are more diversity, emotions are very high, are very high, because each and everybody knows that are being presented in the workplace, and then there are more productivity. In the surface acting, it is whereby you are hiding your inner feelings in the workplace, because we are dealing with a different type of people and different races in the workplace. In the deep acting, they are true inner feelings. Sometimes we have to hide. It's more like the inner, the surface acting, the deep acting is one and the same. It's just like emotions and moods. There's this emotional suppression. It's whereby you have to control your emotions in the workplace. Also, there is a cognitive appraisal. When you're thinking on another angle, you have to change the way of thinking in the workplace. And also social sharing. Social sharing when you are interacting with people. Because when you're interacting with people, it can lower your emotions, because sometimes maybe you act in a way that you shouldn't act. Maybe those people you interact with, they will tell you how to deal with this situation. The next slide is okay. Which type of emotions are most social accepted in the workplace? There are 3 types of emotions are more accepted: the joy, the happiness, the surprise. When people are, these are the emotions that are accepted in the workplace. All right. Which types of emotions are more social accepted in the workplace? These are the emotions. These are the 3 types of emotions that are accepted in the workplace, because they promote a good relationship rather than anger and sadness. And then we accept all these 3 types: the joy, the happiness, and the surprise. Reflective questions. Now we have learned the emotions and moods in this workshop. I think, colleagues, you understand what type of personality might be better equipped for dealing with negative emotions at work. People who do not hold grudges, I think, is one of the things we learned from this today's workshop. And people who might be able to let things go easily, and also short emotional memory are also the things that we learned from our today's workshop. I don't know if the colleagues have things to add. If there's nothing to add, I can say thank everybody for coming to today's workshop. This workshop was so fruitful. Thanks so much.